This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, is the local construction sector going to benefit from a $56 million revamp of one university department? Efforts to boost voter numbers for next year's OUSA executive aren't yielding the expected response. And we take a look at the future plans for the Night Shelter Trust as its fundraising target is exceeded. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. The multi-million-dollar revamp of a major science building is getting started at the University of Otago. A Christchurch firm has been awarded the contract for the $56 million redevelopment, but university staff are confident the local construction sector will benefit.
Going all in on campus. Several redevelopment projects are on the go at the University of Otago. The latest is the start of a $56 million revamp of the chemistry building. It's adding to the already extensive amount of construction currently underway.
We're a victim of circumstance and of timing. These projects have all come on us at once, but I think we'll be able to get good. We've had a lot of interest in the projects from contractors and subcontractors, and I think it'll be really good and positive for the Dunedin market.
However, it's Christchurch firm Lee's Construction that's leading the redevelopment. The company won the project after an extensive tender process, but those at the university say the local workforce will still benefit.
We've had anecdotal feedback that potentially a lot of labour that migrated to Christchurch in the earthquake will come back as these projects come online.
Dunedin builders and subcontractors will be used during the 2.5-year project. For now, the university is focusing on resettling staff and students in a new location, and the recent completion of a temporary laboratory is allowing the Human Nutrition Department to continue its teaching program.
We work really hard to get a decant plan in place that allows everybody to understand what's going on and minimises the impact. Obviously, with the landscape project going on at the moment, there's more work to be done in terms of, you can't just rush to a lecture.
Other departments will gradually vacate the chemistry building between now and January, when the bulk of the work will get underway. The project set to finish in early 2018. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Food services are about to change at Dunedin Hospital almost 5 months after a decision to outsource to Compass Group. The Southern District Health Board made its controversial decision in early May, but local suppliers remain in limbo about whether their contracts will be continued under Compass. The national organisation is set to take over SDHB Food Services in the first week of October. Local companies waiting to hear if their contracts will end include Cairns Catering Supplies. Its produce agreement for Dunedin Hospital is reportedly worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some kitchen staff are still negotiating their jobs in the change. University students are being asked to vote for their preferred representatives. The annual Students' Association election for 2016 is a week from closing, but the organisation's effort to raise its profile on campus isn't having the desired impact.
More than 20,000 students, 4 vying for the top spot. The Otago University Students' Association's election is coming up, where one person will become the voice of all students. But are students represented enough?
Not that I can tell, no.
What do you think?
Just the culture's really going out the door and students aren't having enough to say about it.
Not particularly, but there's not much to do about it really.
Not really. I feel like once in first year you know more about OUSA because they organise like O Week and stuff for you, but in second year and stuff, once you go flatting, you don't really have much to do with them.
Some students say they don't know enough about the OUSA or simply aren't interested. Despite attempts by the OUSA to increase engagement through events, the critic, radio ads and social media, some students say it's falling on deaf ears.
I mean, I think they try. It's pretty hard to get everybody to be involved with campus and like campus life, but I think they try. I honestly don't know a lot about it.
All the events they put on are great. I'm not one to really attend them, but I'm sure they do a good job. It's just I don't see enough of it. Yeah.
At least 5% of the university students need to vote for the election to count. That means just over 1,000 students need to tick the box, but who will be voting?
Yeah, I think I have to. I've got friends who are in it, so I definitely have to. Pretty hounded about it.
Will you be voting in the upcoming election?
Probably not. Don't even know when it is, so yeah.
Maybe, I'm not really sure yet. I was in the room before, or the other day when they were talking, they had their forums on and I was listening, so I might now.
Probably not, no.
The OUSA is trying to increase the student voice by holding a question referendum and by signing a memorandum of understanding, which will mean the students can have influence over decisions on the University Council. The OUSA won't comment as it's too close to the election. They say any comments from the executive could be seen as promotional and may jeopardise the election outcome. Voting closes at the end of the month. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
The City Council is a step closer to implementing a policy on the sale of legal high products. Hearings committee members have resolved to change the inner city area in which the sale of legal highs will be banned. Now the amended draft policy is set to go before the full council for adoption. The council can't ban the sale of legal highs in Dunedin, but it can restrict the places where products are sold. It aims to keep legal highs away from schools, churches and addiction service centres. New legal high products are about to come on the market and retailers will soon be able to apply for licences to sell them. The future is looking bright for the city's night shelter with mere days before staff take ownership of the new premises. A 3.5-year fundraising effort has secured the building for the Dunedin Night Shelter Trust. And with money still rolling in, thoughts are turning to expansion to meet increasing demand.
It's home sweet home for good. After tentatively thinking the purchase date would have to be extended, Dunedin Night Shelter Trust members are happy to be $20,000 over their $600,000 fundraising target. And that means big plans beyond just ownership.
It has us rethinking as to how we can expand and make better use of these facilities, how we can improve the lives of people through these facilities. So, yeah, watch the space.
The Trust is looking at employing a social worker to help those staying at the shelter, particularly as demand for the service increases and changes.
What we've seen too is that the night shelter's evolved. It first started off as a men's shelter. What it is now is more of a community shelter. We're seeing more women coming through, we're seeing family groups come through. So the whole nature of what we do has evolved, and it's only evolved because we're responding to the needs that are out there.
The amount of community support has overwhelmed the Trust. A Sleep Out fundraiser in the Octagon drew large numbers, helping to raise awareness as well as money.
The perception has often been that, night shelter, you're dealing with down and outs who deserve their predicament, but that's not the case. The people use this facility right across the board for all sorts of reasons. And so it's been good to see that the Dunedin people have come on board.
With donations still rolling in, an account will stay open for future building improvements. The Trust officially takes ownership of the site on the 1st of October. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, another round of TPPA talks are about to take place. We find out if a resolution is on the cards. And we take a look at the financials of the DCC's investment arm.
We can't guarantee what people will do once they leave here, but we can sure as hell try to make it better. We're making headways, especially with our offenders going out and the integration between our industries and the outside industries, like the real stuff. Society just needs to give these guys a chance.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It has no arms, no legs, has a drill in its mouth up to 8 hours a day and still never complains. It's one of 72 mannequin torsos in our new $3.8 million dental simulation lab, the first and only facility of its kind in New Zealand. My name is Nikki Rose Coltolaro, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product, and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Is a very tragic death, a very painful death, a very prolonged death, and certainly nothing that needs to happen.
It's not part of our anatomy that people like to think about that much, but actually we need to.
People don't know the symptoms. About half of people you ask don't know the symptoms of the disease, and that makes them very much at risk of dying from the disease or having a much poorer outcome, because the disease is very curable if it's caught early.
Welcome back. Fonterra shareholders are reportedly disappointed with their final payout for the season. Full Farmers shareholders are getting a cash payout of $4.65 per kilogram of milk solids. That includes a 25-cent dividend, which is at the lower end of expectations. But the company forecasts a better season ahead, with payouts upwards of $5 per kilogram of milk solids. Fonterra's total sales volumes are up, but revenue is down. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 22 points. It's now at 5,677. The FTSE is up 96 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against all the currencies we follow. The next round of discussions on the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement are about to get underway. Chief negotiators are meeting in the United States in 2 days. Professor of International Relations Robert Patman joins us to talk about it. Good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca.
Where are the negotiations at currently?
Well, 2 months ago they broke off in Hawaii. There have been some apparently discreet negotiations going on, but the situation at the moment is that from New Zealand's point of view, there's still a major roadblock with regard to the negotiations on dairy access. Now, dairy is a major issue for New Zealand, and the irony is that Tim Grosser, the Trade Minister, some time ago was praising the inclusion of Japan and Canada into the negotiations. It now transpires that Japan and Canada and the United States are rather ganging up against New Zealand on trying to deny New Zealand a freer trade arrangement in the dairy sector. Now, this is really important for New Zealand because it's about nearly close to 30% of our agricultural exports are dairy. It's worth a lot of money to us, and The government has already been indicating that it's saying it's going to negotiate the best deal it can, but they've also indicated it is a bottom line issue, which sort of implies they may walk away if they're not happy with it.
Is this one issue that's preventing resolution at the moment?
Well, according to Tim Grosser, it looks like a very good deal, all except for dairy. There's been progress on some other issues which have affected other players. For example, apparently there's been progress since Hawaii on automobile market access and also drug patents. And it also appears, again this is all based on leaked documents, that there were concerns about Pharmac, but those, according to the documents, that's relatively safe. But the major obstacle appears to be, at the moment, on the whole question of dairy.
Is there any indication of what will be discussed next?
Well, I think Mr. Key indicated that he will be buttonholing President Obama at the leaders' meeting at the UN General Assembly when all the leaders get together next week, and that will be his top issue. You see, one of the frustrating things for New Zealand is that this is a huge market for us, and with China wobbling, suddenly the Trans-Pacific trade negotiations are assuming even more importance. This is a location, the 12 countries are responsible, which are involved in the Trans-Pacific negotiations. They constitute 40% of world trade, and 70% of our exports go to the Asia Pacific. So this is actually very important for us. And the frustrating thing for New Zealand is I think it expects the United States to be true to its free trade rhetoric and join New Zealand in pushing to liberalise the dairy sector. At the moment, protectionist countries like Canada and Japan are fiercely resisting that.
What's going to happen if New Zealand pulls out?
Well, it's going to be a loss of credibility to some extent. It could be economically damaging as well, politically damaging and economically damaging, to answer your question. We were one of the original partners that set up the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We saw it as a bit of a substitute for a free trade agreement with the United States bilaterally, and we enthusiastically recruited countries like Japan and Canada to join it. And so, as you know, from a political point of view, it would be bad news for a government that's put a lot of faith in these negotiations. Economically, it could be worrying because although it may not deliver as much as we would like on the dairy front, can we really afford to be left out of this major multilateral free trade agreement, which could be worth, even without a particularly good deal on dairy, as much as $1 billion extra for New Zealand a year. So there's lots of things that have got to be thought through here. But I think, to answer your question, economically and politically it could be very damaging for the government if the talks collapse.
And just one last quick question. Does the government appear to be softening under public opposition to this?
Well, that's an interesting interpretation. It could be, but I think there's another issue here. I think there's a game of bluff going on. I think Mr. Key and the New Zealand government are saying to the Americans and the other partners, look, these talks could collapse. And for the Americans, this is a big issue because they've got the presidential elections coming. Mr. Obama needs to close the deal before the end of the year, and Mr. Key may be sort of trying to put pressure given the knowledge of that reality.
Professor of International Relations, Robert Patman, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News is the Council's group of investment companies performing, and we'll find out how you can assist a local group as it launches a new scheme.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked, money-back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now, 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
Yeah, we're heading down George Street, down beat, tip of the hat to the people we meet, in southern skies. Take your place, take your place, take your place in the world. Take your place, take your place in the world.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Big Orange for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
So many people don't understand just how prevalent this cancer is.
New Zealand has one of the highest rates of bowel cancer in the developed world.
100 people every month will die of this disease, and a lot of those people are dying quite needlessly.
It's really important to get away from this horrible statistic and to make a difference here.
So we need that to change. We need people to be much more comfortable going to their GP and saying, actually, like, I'm really worried about this.
Welcome back. An energy efficient lighting project has won this year's Audacious Business Challenge for tertiary students. The top award went to the designers of an LED light assembly plant. Second place winners created a solution for forgotten baby syndrome, which would alert users to children left in car seats. Each year, the Audacious Challenge rewards young entrepreneurs in the city. It's open to local university and polytechnic students. More than $15 million has been paid out to the City Council and its subsidiaries in the last financial year. The Council's investment arm, Dunedin City Holdings Limited, has distributed $15.7 million. That's in dividends and interest, as well as payments to offset losses by Dunedin Venues Limited. DCHL is in a strong position with cash from operations up and borrowings down. The investment group includes Aurora Energy, Delta, City Forests, Taieri Gorge Railway and Dunedin Airport. Profit after tax and loss payments was just under $13 million. A local support group is launching a new scheme for people living with dementia. Alzheimer's Otago is aiming to match volunteers with dementia sufferers in a bid to increase social interaction and quality of life. But first, the organisation needs help from residents.
Anyone can develop dementia. That's a message from Alzheimer's Otago, which is starting a new service to pair volunteers with those who suffer from the mental disorder.
The idea is that it's a companion service for
people who need a little bit of support to maintain their quality of life continue with the current activities that they're doing within the community. And when you've got issues with your memory, it can erode your confidence.
Figures show more than 60,000 Kiwis are affected by dementia. The ageing population means numbers will increase and support is needed to take the strain off families. Alzheimer's New Zealand says dementia sufferers need the extra help, but also need a level of independence.
The idea of this is that you've got somebody alongside you, not to do things for you or to take you by the hand and you know, necessarily guide you, but just there as a bit of support in case you're out for a walk and it's, oh, do I turn left or do I turn right?
The local Alzheimer's Association is asking for help from residents. To get the ball rolling on the scheme, staff need support from a number of volunteers willing to give a helping hand.
I'm hopeful that we will get a good number of people. I mean, we've been spending a wee bit of time getting our training protocols in place because all volunteers will get extensive training around dementia and what it means when you've got dementia, and then we will introduce them to people with early stage dementia and sort of go from there.
The successful volunteers will undergo training in November and be introduced to those living with dementia thereafter. It's a service Alzheimer's Otago is hoping to see grow so sufferers can lead as normal a life as possible. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. A Christchurch company is about to start the $56 million redevelopment of the university's chemistry building. Students are being asked to vote for their preferred representatives, but some say the election process is fruitless. And the Night Shelter Trust plans to expand its operations to meet increasing demand, having secured its fundraising goal. It's time now to find out what's going to be in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. Bruce Query's with us. Good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca. A large hui by Ngāi Tahu will bring about 1,500 people to Dunedin in November. There is plenty going on at Dunedin's former post office building, where workers are rushing to finish the Distinction Hotel, which is due to be finished and opening in 1 month's time. And of course, in our Friday rugby coverage in our lift out, the Rugby World Cup rolls on, so there's plenty written about the overnight games.
Awesome, that's tomorrow's ODT. Thank you, Bruce. Time now for local weather.
Proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Puff Plus.
Here is tonight's City View. It's taken of cars on the causeway. And around the city at 3 o'clock today, 9 degrees for the central city and the Garlands, 10 for the Tyree. To the situation, and that ridge of high pressure is still with us. It's still accompanied by a cool easterly flow. To the forecast for the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow, showers and southerlies later in the day for Invercargill and Gore, southeasters for Tiana with showers later on, and just a bit of cloud around for Alexandra, highs of around 12 or 13 degrees. And just a bit of cloud around for Queenstown, Oamaru, Wanaka and Twizel tomorrow. And Dunedin tonight, we're expecting a wee bit of cloud as well. 6 degrees is our low. Sunny periods at first tomorrow, but the clouds will increase during the day. Colder southerlies will freshen in the evening with some showers. A high of 11 is expected. And on Saturday, the showers will clear. It will become fine and sunny. Later on, though, with a high of 9. And finally, to the Otago pallet fires, tidal and fishing information. Low tide tomorrow morning is at 7:30. High tide follows at around 1:05. And fishing conditions look good tomorrow morning, particularly around 25 to 10. And that is local news for Thursday. We will see you again tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.